Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, which happens every Friday of the month, where we have either an inspiration piece or a recipe that we are following that involves mixed media. Today's inspiration piece comes from Missy Whitten, and this is a project that she did for Shimmerz design team, it looks like. I am going to start out with some shimmers, actually. Using My Clementine, Dandelion, and Daffodil. So I'm starting out with this pinky color. I really like the way that this looks. I think that's the My Clementine. The Daffodil is, I think, the yellow. And then I think the Dandelion is that more orangey color. I don't have them in front of me right now, but I will list them down below for you so that you can go and check that out. I have these 3 fall photos of my niece and her 2 girls and me and the little girl that I take care of at the pumpkin patch. We are riding the cow train. I don't know if you have a cow train in your area. It's basically like a 55-gallon drum turned on its side with a cutout in it with a seat, and then you've got a cow head and tail and all of that to decorate it to make it look like a cow. And you can see them there in the photo. And the girls rode side by side in front of my niece and myself, and then my niece also had her little one in her lap. So we had a really fun time. It was after a class that the 2 girls were taking together, and we just had a really good time hanging out and playing at the pumpkin patch, and then doing the corn maze and getting caramel corn, and I don't know, that we just had a really fun time. It was a nice day, and in California, you never know. It's usually probably going to be pretty warm, and it definitely was warm that day, but that's okay. The girls actually were dressed alike, and just by chance, well, not entirely by chance, the little dress that the one I was wearing, I had shown it to my niece, and she bought it for her daughter. And then I told her little Allie would be wearing it, and so she dressed her daughter in it as well. And so they looked really cute together. You'll get to see those photos a little later in the month next week, because I will be scrapbooking those as well. In case you're wondering what I'm doing here, I have some liquid watercolor in this red. It's from Ecoline. Yeah, Ecoline watercolor, and I think it's number 422, and it is this red color. And so I am just taking the ticket cut file for 31 days of Cutfiles today, and I am coloring them up with this red, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this gold shimmer to them. And I think I might even go back and add a little bit more shimmer from one of the Shimmerz pots to it, or maybe from some dilutions. I don't know. We'll see that in a second. I did this layout just about 2 weeks ago, so I can't remember actually what exactly I used on it, but I know I made it shimmery. And I think the Clementine might have been, maybe I did use the Clementine. Anyway, also using a little bit of gold Heidi Swapp Color Shine, which is a slightly different gold than the gold that I used from the Liquitex acrylic ink in bright gold. That's the one with the rubber squeeze dropper that you see at the top of my screen there. So I am also using a this, I call it my the cat bowl. It's not really a cat bowl, but the little water holder that you see at the top of my screen there. It's called a rinse well. I'll try to remember to put the link for that down below as well. It comes with like a bottle of water, kind of like a hamster feeder without the little silver ball in it, and or like you would use a 2-liter bottle that goes into a cat bowl, cat waterer. And then it has a little plunger, that little blue dot at the front of the bowl, and you hit the plunger and it drains into a basin so that you have fresh water to work with. So I have had a few people ask me about that, so I thought I would mention it. I don't use it all the time, but when I'm doing stuff that's going to require a lot of rinsing, then I will pull it out. So now I'm inking this tickets up with some Black Soot Distress ink just to give them a pop all the way around the edges. I'm liking how that's looking. I'm going to layer these up behind my photo, very much like Missy has in her original piece that we are scrap lifting, and she's got dream catchers in hers. I'm not doing dream catchers obviously, but I am going to do these tickets, and I think they're going to come out really good. My niece has this shirt on that is very much like the color of the umbrella that's in the right hand photo, and then with the cows having pink faces on the bottom left photo. I just figured that was a good color and it worked really well. I also have this title from Colorcast Designs that has the same kind of color in the letters that make up the word autumn that go inside of the acrylic. Now I did pull out, it is Distress Mica Stain from Tim Holtz, and it is called Burning Ember. That is the color that I am putting on here to give it a little bit of extra shine and sheen. And I really like that because the watercolor that I used, the Econoline, yeah, I think that's a vehicle. The Ecoline one didn't have any shimmer, so it was looking kind of flat, and I wasn't picking up the light, and I definitely wanted that. So there it is, Burning Ember, some daffodil, some dandelion, and some My Clementine. Kudos to me for remembering to hold those up, because sometimes I do forget. I did go through my scrap bin. I pulled out several little pieces of paper here that I had used for other projects, and I am backing my photos with those. And I really liked the yellow because it plays on the yellow in the field of flowers there. And then I'm just going to freehand cut around it. I just didn't feel like pulling out my trimmer to kind of trim all of that out. And actually I don't even have my trimmer here that I would normally use to do that. But I am ruffling up all of the edges with the Distress Edger tool from Some Assemblage Required. I haven't used it in a few days, so I definitely wanted to pull that out and use it. I really have been enjoying it. And then to add some more in the pinks and such, I decided to go ahead and layer this one up. It doesn't go all the way around the photos, but that's okay. I don't mind that. And then I'm going to bring in some of the orange, because there's orange flowers out in that field too. It's just a really beautiful field of flowers that you take a little trip through, and then they've got varying scarecrows set up in different kinds of outfits and different kind of vignettes that you can look at. So the girls had a really good time. They really enjoyed it, and so did my niece and I. We had fun. It was just really fun watching them experience all of these things. They were both let's see, Allie had just turned 3, and my niece was just about to turn 4, or my niece's daughter. So it's just always fun to watch kids experience things. The year before, I don't think Allie she knew what a pumpkin patch was, but she didn't have the same level of enjoyment as she did this particular year. So it was fun to see. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out the placement of these tickets. I'm going to cut them apart. I don't need them to span the entire distance, and actually it was kind of like making it a little bit more bulky where they all three would meet up where they would intersect underneath my photo. So I'm going to cut some of that out, and I'm just going to use the three the ends of them and tuck them in. Now these little floral clusters, these are actually from Hobby Lobby. They came in a set. I don't even know the name of the set, but I had a whole bunch of different odds and ends of pieces. And so I'm going to pull in these blue, red, and yellow ones because those are the colors that are in the flowers here. I'm actually covering up most of the blue. I just want the red and the yellow to show primarily. I don't mind the green showing because there's definitely green in the photo, but I didn't want the blue flower to actually show. So I went through my pile and I found a couple of butterflies as well. So I'm going to add those to this layout. And I found another cluster that matches the one on the left-hand side. And so I am layering them up on the right-hand side. And I really like the way that ends up looking. And here's where I go ahead and cut apart my little tickets so that I don't have such bulk underneath my photos. That worked out really well for me. I also felt like I could put them at more of an angle and they don't have to match up perfectly at the bottom. They just look like they do, and so that made me happy. So I know there's not like a whole sheet of mixed media on here, but I really like the way that the mixed media came out. I was kind of hesitant about whether it was done or not, but once I got the photos on there and all of the ephemera, I felt like it was a good blend of colors to match what I had going on in the photos. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I did use my acrylic blocks to just hold everything down. Now I'm going to play with the title here and where I want to put that. I did pull out some of the leaves from the Spectrum Sherbert collection. Still working through that. And I am just tucking those in and layering them around in varying areas, bringing in a little bit more of that green and filling out some of the clusters here so that they don't look like it's just one piece stuck on the layout. I wanted it to have some actual dimension and layers built into it. So tucking those in really helped fill them out, I feel, and I like the way they turned out. So I am using my liquid glue to adhere the letters here. I already used some of the glue dots or Zots bling actually in the upper right hand corner of the layout. You can see the roll there. I've used that to adhere it down for the most part, but I am just reinforcing the inner letters with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and then stacking all of my blocks on top to hold it down, because with all those layers of paper, it definitely has some height to it, and I wanted to make sure it laid flat on the photo there to really get a good grip. I'm adding a little bit of dimensional adhesive behind the wings of my butterflies and then sticking the body down directly to the paper so that they have a little added dimension. While I do that, don't forget to go and check out the other people playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem. I no longer have a list down below because we've opened it up to anybody who wants to play along. You can go and join the Mixed Media Mayhem scrapbooking group and see the inspiration for each week there, and you can play along that way, and you can see what everyone creates there as well, because most people are posting in that area. I am adding a little bit of thread nests under my clusters. I know that's a popular thing that Missy does on her layout, so I went ahead and did that. I'm not really sure she had it on her layout. That is the inspiration. But I decided to go ahead and do that. And then after the fact, I decided to do some stitching around the outside and along or behind those butterflies. My stitching got a little wonky in my upper left-hand corner, but I'm going to go with it. You know, butterflies, they kind of flutter all over the place. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. Nature's not perfect. So that is it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, leave those down below. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You can also find the link to my Facebook group down below if you want to join me over there. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.